Welcome to this video on how to set up your Zoom classroom. I think you'll find if you have gone through the Google Meet process, it is rather similar. It is just as straightforward and just as easy to set up. So hopefully that sort of learning that people have already done and the time and effort they've put into setting up their Google Meet, which is still going to be used as a backup, is worthwhile. And hopefully we can apply it across to setting up Zoom. So in order to set up our Zoom account, all I've done in my web browser, and Chrome is best, is navigated to zoom.us, and I'm ready to start the process of setting up an account. So all I need to do is sign in, and it gives me the options here. I don't need to sign up necessarily. I can just sign in, and I can sign in with my Google account. Now this is what we want you to use, so it's your Beacon Hills Google account. So when I do sign in with Google, it will bring up my options here. If I have a number of accounts sort of on the computer logged in, it might sort of ask me to select which one, but I don't at the moment. It's just me, so I can just click Create Account, and my account is ready to go. Okay, so if I was to look here, obviously there's some disclaimers about there being, strong demand, etc., etc. I'm just going to close that off. So here on the left-hand side, I've got my meeting space here, but I just want to draw your attention, please, to the profile. So I'm going to click on my profile. It has my Google Beacon Hills account image here. What I really want you to sort of take heed of is this is your link for your personal meeting space. So like we did in Google Meet, we sort of just set up one classroom, I guess, and kept it there. This is the link that I would copy to put over into ClassNet. So I'm actually going to do that for you now. I'll just step through that process. So back over to here. So I just copied that link, navigating through to my ClassNet space. You can use this same link in each one of your classrooms. Going to software development. This link that I have live here is heading to a Google Meet. I wouldn't necessarily get rid of that, just in case. I would potentially hide that, just so students are very aware of where they need to click on to access one of my meetings. So I'm going to turn my editing on. So the first thing I want to do is hide this Google Meet link that I put in last week. So that's hidden now. You can see it's sort of washed out. Then I'm going to add a new activity, and if you recall, we scroll all the way down to the bottom. It's a URL. We click Add. I will call it Mr. Wallace's online Zoom classroom or online learning space, something like that, just so your students know exactly where to click, especially if you have multiple teachers of the same subject. And I'm just pasting in that URL that I had copied from my profile. In my appearance, of course, I just changed that to a new window, just out of, I guess, just so your ClassNet space is still active in their browser. So if you are directing them back to ClassNet, they don't have to go back and forth. I will save and return to course. Turn my editing off, and a student would not see the hidden content, but they would know that this is my online Zoom classroom. Back in my Zoom account, I'm now going to show you how we can set some sort of initial settings for your meeting and then start a meeting process. So I am going to click in the Meetings tab on the menu on the left hand side, and I'm going to go straight across to Personal Meeting Room, and you'll see when I go here that link is exactly the same as the one that I've just embedded onto ClassNet, Shobi, Style, etc. What I'm going to do, I can edit some of my meeting options, and I just wanted to show you this. So I've put that my video is on. I can automatically set the host participant video to be off, but I'm not going to do that because I want to show you how you can do that within the app. I'm not allowing people to join before I am. I might like to do this one here, mute participants upon entry. I could also record the meeting automatically on the local computer, but that's a whole meeting and you might not want to record the whole lot, so I'll show you how we can do that just with snippets if they would like. And I've enabled this one here, so this is what it would look like, but I've enabled the waiting room, which means that students sort of are admitted to the waiting room first, and then I can admit them to the class. The only reason I've sort of enabled this is it's really handy. If someone's doing the wrong thing, you can actually just push them back out to the waiting room rather than removing them totally. If you remove someone from your meeting, they can't come back at all. So I think the waiting room is probably the best way to go. So I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to start my meeting from here. If you were just on your profile or anywhere and you just did the host meeting, it would just start a new meeting. But because I'm in my personal meeting room space, when I do start meeting, it is going to start the meeting with that same link that we copied into ClassNet. So starting my meeting. This is what we're looking for. I've already installed this application. The first time I opened up Zoom meetings, I had to click here to download and run Zoom, and then from that point forward, I was just able to open Zoom meetings. So this is an app, and it will launch automatically once you have started. So here I am. So I'm going to join with my computer audio. I'm going to maximize my screen. I can enter my full screen if I would like. So it really does start to look like essentially the same thing as we did with Google Meet. So this is my navigation sort of pane here. A few things that we can do. I'm going to click on the option next to share screen. I'm going to do my advanced sharing options and basically say that only the host can share the screen. This way we're not allowing students to just start sharing their screen, which takes away, I guess, from your presence in the classroom. When I manage my participants, I'm going to click on mute all, and I'm going to uncheck the option which allows participants to unmute themselves, which means that everyone's muted once they're in, and then I can close that down too. In the chat, I'm going to click on this button here, and it's basically saying participant can chat with either no one, host only, or everyone publicly. And I guess that's your options. I've chosen host only so they can ask me questions if they would like. So basically I'm ready to go. If I was going to impart a message, this is where I would be talking to my students. And if I had students here, which I will add one in a moment, you'll see their sort of space and how I can interact with them whilst I'm in the classroom. Okay, so my test student is actually my iPad. It's given my device name, so you've got to be, I guess, mindful that your students need to make sure they're calling their iPads or their computers. Their computer name is an appropriate name, of course, but you can see there that it reads here that SWL iPad has entered the waiting room for this meeting. Do I want to admit or do I want to see the waiting room? I can have a look. Okay, so SWL is waiting. I'm just going to admit him here. Okay, so in this instance, SWL iPad has now entered my space. Now, you'll see that I've got his screen, my screen, on the main window here. And what happens is every time someone enters a new meeting, that person becomes the focus. So the easiest way to sort of make sure that you're the focus always, similarly to Google Meet, is we go into my gallery view. There's the two screens side by side, and I can just click here and do pin video. So my video now is the one that everyone will see. Now, one thing that you can see, I have, I can see the vision on the iPad. I can see, like if they had a webcam up, I would be able to see them. So it's probably a good idea, just to go into my manage participant space, is go, okay, well, you know what, I want to mute all. And again, we're not allowing, you can allow participants to unmute themselves, but probably not ideal in a classroom setting, so I'm going to uncheck that. So it's muted now, and then I'm going to stop the video of that person as well. So when I close that down, you can see now that I've just got sort of their heading. You know, this is their name, and I might have, if I had lots and lots of people here, and you can see even though I'm doing that, my video is still pinned, but I might have a whole heap of people up here that are that can see my screen, and I can see them, and you know, that kind of stuff. But I don't need to see their actual, like, them. I can just know that they're there and ready to go. So I guess it's just then, you know, if you were looking at presenting something, some sort of PowerPoint presentation or something like that, you've got options to share your screen. Just double check. Yep, I did that before. So I'm going to share my screen, and it'll just give me, the easiest way, I guess, is to actually have a look at sharing your screen. And then if I was going to maybe open up a PowerPoint presentation, let's do preparation is the key. When I'm presenting to my students, they are going to see exactly what's on the screen right now. So they can see that they've got my PowerPoint presentation. They can see my sort of image up in their space talking as well, which is good. So you can actually sort of run a PowerPoint the same way that you would do in a classroom setting. I'll stop that now just to share, go back to here. Probably the last thing that I wanted to show you, which was really, really simple, and I think really makes, apart from all those other features about, you know, your control of what you can see and how you can mute and unmute, etc., etc. One of the things that makes Zoom really, really powerful is the ability to record with a single button. So I'm recording now. So this is going to save, when I end my meeting, this will save automatically as an MP4. So if I've ran a presentation, that sort of presentation and me sort of talking to that presentation will all be recorded, which is really, really cool. So I can stop my recording now. It'll give me the message. The recorded file will be converted when the meeting ends, and then I can then upload that, you know, to YouTube or to some other sort of video streaming service as I want to have the links and the embedding to ClassNet, to basically allow, you know, students to go back in and have a look at the meeting after it's done. That is using using Zoom in a nutshell. Please, of course, remember, if you have any questions, queries, or concerns, do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you for your time.